Hey guys, Trent here coming at you with another video. So this video we're going to continue with vintage Masters of the Universe identification. We're going to do Wave 2, 1983. So I previously covered the very first wave, 1982, and I'll put the link to that video in the description, but we have that one already. So let's go ahead and take a look at 6 figures that make up Wave 2, 1983, vintage Masters of the Universe. So if you're new to my channel, welcome in. My name is Trent. I'm a part-time reseller on eBay. I do it for fun and profit and take you along for the journey. So please hit that subscribe button for more great videos in the future. So yeah, we'll go through the figures, 6 figures, look at their accessories and the figures themselves. That way you can be a little bit familiarized with them, and then we'll go cover a little bit of what I think, the prices are selling wise on eBay. All right, here we go. Masters of the Universe Vintage, Wave 2. This is 1983. There was 6 figures. There was, of course, other vehicles and a Beast released in 1983, but I was going to do those later, so I'm just doing the figures in the first videos. So there was 6 figures, and this time the bad guys are outnumbering the evil warriors are outnumbering the heroic warriors, because we only got 2 heroic warriors in this wave, and we got 4 evil warriors. So I have these laid out in no particular order, but we'll go over them, I guess, starting with Ramman over here on the right and work our way left. So this wave, Masters of the Universe was a great success whenever it came out. So this wave contains what starts to have some of the really common figures in it, I would say. Everybody had it in their collection, so some of the least valuable Masters of the Universe figures, I think, might be in this wave, at least one of them. And in fact, probably the least expensive Masters of the Universe figure in the entire line probably is in Wave 2. But that's okay. Of course, they all can't be winners, But anyway, starting from right to left, we'll take a look at Ramman first. So Ramman was the first, really... Well, actually, that's another thing I should mention. In Wave 2, they started introducing more gimmicky stuff, where the first wave was pretty much standard figures. They all have their twist, the spring-loaded waist, but that was about it. They didn't have all these special action features that some of these figures in Wave 2 now start to get. So Ramman was one of them. So Ramman is a hollow-bodied figure because he has a special action feature where his legs can go down like this, and then he can do a ramming action when you hit this little lever. Okay, so one thing you'll be looking out for is for that to be working properly. Otherwise, Ramman's a pretty basic figure. Not much to him. He only came with this one little axe right here, and I'd say that's probably worth maybe $10. This stuff is really common. There's a lot of Rammans out there. Now the thing when it comes to value for Ramman is 2 things. One is the overall paint condition, because this guy was Ramman, of course, so he was bashed into everything. So like mine, for example, I finally came across one that has relatively clean paint everywhere. No, like a lot of times this will be all scuffed off and everything, and on top of the head. So my condition Ramman, I would say, would be you could sell it for a premium, over $30, maybe $40, complete like this. And especially with the number 2 thing was he has these little like sticker like wrist gauntlets that were like basically stickers. You see those? Most of the time those are missing. So to get one with both intact and in good shape, I'd say that makes it a premium as well. I would say this is pretty close to as premium as a Ramman you could get. Maybe you could get over $40, $45, $50 maybe, just because it's really hard again to find them that still have this little sticker still attached to the wrists, and then the condition. So that is Ramman, and he is a heroic warrior. All right, next up we got an evil warrior, probably what might be considered to be some of people's favorite Motu character, and figure itself is just a really awesome figure. We got Trapjaw here. So Trapjaw has a lot going on. He's a pretty common figure, but there's a lot of accessories, and people really like it. People really remember having him. By the way, as a kid, I had Ramman and I had Trapjaw. So I actually had one of these as a kid. He was one of the figures I had. So they call him Trapjaw because he does have his articulated little jaw. You can just move it up and down however you want. He's got a green painted face. And he comes with 4 different accessories. His belt, and then 3 different attachment accessories on his arm. And actually this rubber piece on his chest will come off. But he's got a hook, and I just realized that my hook is missing its little clip to be able to clip it onto his belt. Something I overlooked, so I'm missing that. And then he has 2 other accessories. He's got his clamp that you could put on his arm. Or his blaster. So most of the time you find Trapjaw these days, he's not going to have all of his accessories. He might have his belt and maybe 1 accessory if you're lucky, but usually never all 3 individual accessories. The belt may be like $10 at the most, and then probably actually around the same for all 3 of the blaster accessories if you had those individually to sell. But the figure complete like this, I would say, in decent condition, is probably at the most like maybe a $40 figure, or maybe a little bit more than that. Completely loose with no accessories, the figure, it's pretty common, so just the figure itself with no accessories might be like a $10 to $15 figure, something like that. So that is Trapjaw. Alright, next we got another heroic warrior, one that I had as a kid too, and what I believe might be the most common Masters of the Universe figure that exists, and that is Manny Faces. So here we have Manny Faces, heroic warrior, only 1 accessory, but he does have a special action feature gimmick. He has Manny Faces. That's why they call him Manny Faces. Here's his human-like head, or face, sorry, his robotic face, and his monster face, which is my preferred one. This figure, again, I think it's almost every lot of Masters of the Universe you come across will have one of these guys in here. And he only has this 1 blaster, very easy to find. The blaster is probably worth less than $10, to be honest with you. The figure itself, if you have one that has no paint scuffs on it, maybe like a $15 figure, or a little bit higher if you're lucky. Complete like this, it's, I mean, maybe at the most a $20 figure. It's just so common, that's the thing. But the key is to find one that has, you know, no paint scuffs around here and everything, because that's where it gets scuffed up. So if you have one in really good condition, you can charge a couple bucks extra premium, but not too much, because the figure is just dirt common. I think the most common Masters of the Universe figure that there is. So there we have Manny Faces. Alright, next we got another evil warrior. We've got Triclops. So he's an interesting one. He's almost always, I think there's multiple places where he was made, but usually Mexico is the version we're going to find. So he always has nice tight legs, and Triclops has a feature of different eyes you can rotate to. See that? Alright, so Triclops comes with his green sword, and then his own unique set of armor. And he almost always has the armor because it's a little bit, because of this headpiece, it's a little bit harder to remove Triclops' armor around his head. So you have the benefit, that gives you the benefit of always having his armor. The sword is a little bit harder to find. I think this sword is a little bit more, gets lost a little bit more, so it might be worth maybe 15, 20, something like that. And the figure itself, maybe around the same. Having a complete Triclops in good condition, minimal paint scuffs and everything, with nice sword with an unbroken handguard on the sword, you're looking at $25 or a little bit higher at the most, probably $30 at the most, but probably like a $25 figure. It's again still a more common figure. So there we go. There we have triclops. Alright, next we got yet another evil warrior. We've already covered all the heroic warriors, only 2 of them this wave. We've got evil-lyn, so they made another female character, a female evil warrior this time, because in wave 1 there was Tila. So here's evil-lyn. So evil-lyn only comes with a wand. She usually has, it's easy for her to have paint scuffs on her garment and around her tiara, or whatever you want to call it. So again, condition matters. A lot of times the inner thighs will get yellow, like a dirty color to them. So that's kind of stuff better condition matters on this. But this is, evil-lyn's pretty common. It's just trying to find one that stands well and it looks good and everything and isn't too beat up. I think evil-lyn, again, common. It's not too hard to find her stuff if you have her complete and in nice condition. Maybe 20, 25 at the most, probably for a complete evil-lyn. Individual, just evil-lyn by herself, probably $10 to $12, and maybe $15 at the most. And then the wand is probably like $10 or $8 to $10, something like that. Easy to find stuff, pretty common. So there we have it, evil-lyn. Okay, last but not least, I'm going to cover I think what's probably the most valuable figure in Wave 2. We have Faker. This Faker of mine has a little bit of loose legs, so Faker is a straight up repaint of He-Man. It's just He-Man repainted, molded in this blue plastic with purple boots and trunks, and then they remolded Skeletor's armor and He-Man's sword in orange, and then they painted his hair orange. Makes for a really cool figure. It's definitely a collector's, He-Man collector's favorite. He's really awesome. And it seems like there's less of them for whatever reason. I think maybe a lot of people, or a lot of parents, didn't want to buy this figure because they felt like they were getting ripped off, like it was just they're just trying to resell He-Man in a different color. So, but people love him now. And one other interesting thing about Faker is on his chest he has a little robotic little tape recorder looking sticker. You see that sticker? That being intact increases the value, of course. And then of course, Faker has this really rich orange paint on his hair. So a lot of times that gets scuffed off, so the less paint scuffs and the better the paint, the more premium you're going to be able to get. But this is one of the more expensive figures for Wave 2, or it is the most expensive in Wave 2. I think due to it's a little bit more uncommon, and the condition again matters. Got to find one that's in decent condition. So Faker, I'd say if he's a beat up one but he's complete, I think you're looking at like at least $60, $65. But if you get one in nice pristine condition like mine, I mean my legs are a little bit loose, but I could fix that. But even with the loose legs, you could be looking at something like an $80 figure, something like that. The sword and his armor go for a little bit more individually. The armor would probably be $20 to $25. It would sell by itself, and the sword I think maybe around the same. But yeah, the complete Faker, I would say, in good condition like this, I'm going to value my Faker at around $80 maybe. And one thing I will point out, it may come up, a lot of these figures have different manufacturing variants and everything, different countries of origin, different countries of origin and everything they were manufactured in. But later they made, in Malaysia, they made Faker. This is like the re-release of Faker, and he's a little bit different. So this Faker, the Taiwan Faker, the one that is more common, has a soft rubber head, and so you could squish it. A soft rubber head, and then the hair is painted onto it, right? Well, this Malaysia Faker has a hard orange rubber head, and the face is painted on. Actually, the face is painted blue on there, so that's why he has a few little scuff marks. and the overall paint looks a little bit different. The paint looks a lot thicker, and it makes the figure actually look a lot like a little bit more buff than the standard Taiwan figure. I think this one in good condition. I mean, they're similar, but I think this one will go for maybe a little bit more. It's a little bit less common because this was like a later release faker. So yeah, so that's one like pretty specific variant that could fetch you a little bit more money, and it's something to be on the lookout for. But there we have some awesome fakers. So there we have it, Masters of the Universe Vintage 1983 Wave 2. 6 figures. Be on the lookout for them and know their accessories, and especially be on the lookout for those fakers in good condition, and you can make a little bit of money. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.